Hi, welcome to Nerdorina. I'm Britt,
And I'm Jax.
and here we talk about all things fun and nerdy over our favorite beverage, tea. So if that sounds like fun to you, go ahead and like and subscribe, please, and you'll be able to follow all of the fun, wacky stuff that we do.
Yeah. Today we are talking about the Theros Beyond Death pre-release, which we just got back from. So it's like 2 in the morning.
It is. It's really late.
And we thought you'd like to talk about the set with us. So here's some footage of us opening our packs and building our decks.
How did pre-release go for you, Jackie?
About usual for me. I lost all of my games. I actually had the potential to win 2 of them though. It was my second match was a draw, and my last match I won. But before we started playing, I gave the win to my opponent anyway, because they were gonna go. If they won, they would have been 2-2, and I would have only been 1-3. So it wasn't going to get me an extra pack, so I just gave them the win anyway. But when we played, I 2-0'd them. So
that's so nice of you.
Yeah, I did well that game, but I was like, it doesn't get me any additional packs anyway, so I just gave it to them.
Yeah, and to you guys who are new to the idea of pre-releases, the prize pool might seem like a weird thing because it doesn't necessarily matter how many times you won, or it's kind of weird. You could be going against someone, and if it's far enough in the event, I said it backwards, it matters how many times you won. But if you're going against someone and it's at the very end, it might be the very last round, you could beat them, but you could get fewer packs than if they beat you based on how you performed earlier in the night.
Yeah.
So if you're new to pre-releases and that sounded weird, that's just how it is.
So that win gave my opponent an extra pack, so I was like, I don't really care. It's fine. Plus, Addison bought a box anyway for us to do a block, so.
Yeah, Adam and Addison decided to have this crazy idea to make a cube out of this set.
That's what it is, a block cube.
Similar
I know what magic is.
For some reason, Adam and Addison decided that this was the set that they were going to learn how to make a cube.
I mean, I'm okay with this, though.
Yeah, it's not a bad set.
I loved it.
Mm.
I have dabbled in Magic Arena, but I don't really play Magic Arena. So my first exposure, other than spoilers, obviously, was this pre-release. This is my first real exposure to the set, and I really, really liked it. I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, it's fun.
The dynamics in it, the art in the set is beautiful. The freaking new lands that came out, the new basic lands, they're so gorgeous. I want to put them in my commander decks, and I was blown away by
the Pokemon lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a fun set because it's not like you just play black or you just play red, like previous sets that you get the 1 or 2 color combo and you're like, all right, these are the 2 decks that are being made for this set, whatever. I'm sure as we get more further along into the season for this set that a few decks will come out just like they always do. But right off the bat, it feels like a fun set.
Yeah.
And I love how like crazy and volatile the set is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like everyone can play with the graveyard, which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's not just like a black, like Scorpion God nonsense thing. Probably set their own card, whatever. But any color can play with their graveyard.
Yeah.
And I love it. What's it called? Escape is in a lot of the colors, so that's kind of really nice.
Escape is in like basically everything, which I liked a lot. I also liked the exile aspect. I might be a little biased on the exile thing from Commander. I play Jaleva commander deck, which basically pitches everyone's stuff into exile, and then I get to play it. So I may be a little biased to the exile dynamic, but I do really, really like it.
Hearing that and you know a little bit about the set, you might know where this is going. Go on, Jackie. Why might you like the set based off of that?
Well, I pulled Ashiok. I pulled the full art one. So naturally I immediately went blue-black. And I got really decent blue and black pulls anyway, so it worked pretty organically. But I went into pre-release wanting Ashiok because Ashiok fits beautifully into Jaleva. So I wanted it going in, and I was like, and I don't want to, I've played, I think the past 3 or 4 pre-releases, I've played green. And not that I dislike green at all, but I was like, I want to play different colors. I just really want to play different colors than green. So I went in and I was like, how cool would it be if I pulled Ashiok and got good blue and black pulls and played a blue and black deck? And that's exactly what happened. It was amazing. So Ashiok is a legendary planeswalker. It's a +1, create a 2/3 blue-black nightmare creature token with, whenever this creature attacks or blocks, each opponent exiles the top 2 cards of their library.
Unreal.
Yeah, which turned out to be so amazing. Like, I knew it was good, but it was even better than I thought. I thought I was going to have a lot of problems trying to protect Ashiok when I was playing because I thought people were going to be like, no.
That's what Adam said when he heard it was going in your commander deck. He's like, too bad you're never going to alter.
Yeah, but turns out, like, the 2/3 that she creates, like, eventually people are like, well, I can't deal with this, really. Like,
it is a beefy meat shield.
Yeah, like, it's not like you're chucking out little 1/1s. Like, it's a 2/3, and there's a consequence whenever it does anything. Like, when it's declared an attacker or a blocker, it exiles the top 2 of their library. And if you can alter, it's -7. You may cast up to 3 face-up cards your opponents own from exile without paying their mana costs. So, like, not even, like, just cards that are exiled with this one. Like,
oh my gosh.
the exile they own. Like, which, that's why I wanted it in Jaleva, because Jaleva is just pitching everything into exile all the time. So I went in really, really wanting this card, and I'm so happy I got it. So that was like my #1 pull. I was super happy about it. Like, that was a win for me. Like, pre-release done. I was like, good. We can go home now.
I don't have to win anything.
No.
I won.
Well, I don't win at pre-releases. So.
Oh, I genuinely as a genuine rule, no.
I never win. I think my record for every pre-release has been 1 in 3 or worse.
Yeah, I got 1 in 3 this time. Yeah. And while I didn't get any like magical pulls, I made a super solid Dimir deck, and you know, no like huge like money cards or face value cards, but you know, it was a nice solid. I had that really fun enchantment, Underworld Dreams.
Oh, yeah, I ran that too.
Yeah, we ran similar decks, except, you know, she had Ashiok and all the other fun stuff, but, you know. Underworld Dreams I was really excited about because it's a really nice kind of, like, behind-the-scenes, really...
Like, just kind of sits there and it's just like, ping.
A long-term clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Underworld Dreams, 3-drop, 3 black, so it's quite the commitment sometimes, especially if you're trying to do a bunch of colors. But enchantment, whenever an opponent draws a card, Underworld Dreams deals 1 damage to that player. And it was great. Like, I didn't do too much like additional forcing them to draw. I feel like if that was in the deck where...
Oh, yeah, that would be gross.
That'd be so gross. You'd have to do nothing else but just, like, make sure you didn't get hit. And then you could take them out with the right kind of combos.
Yeah, but honestly, it was good, especially if I got it out relatively early game. Which, I know it's 3 black, but I went black heavy in my deck because all of my double colored cards were black.
Nice.
So I went a little heavier with my black. And I had no trouble getting there by, like, turn 3 or 4. So, for me, like, getting it out that early, it was just, like, this constant damage that was going to my opponent. And, you know, at pre-release, it's only a 20 life clock.
Oh, yeah.
So, I loved it. It worked out really well for me.
Yeah, for sure. And what usually happened with me, like, the perfect kind of play was I had a bunch of flyers in there. And, you know, I had the harpies in there, and I had the gull. Like, it was nothing special. It was just a 2/2 flash flyer. And, so I'd have them in just like, ping, ping, ping. 1 damage here, 2 over here.
Another guy that I had that I really liked was Brine Giant. So he costs 1 colorless less for each enchantment you own?
Yes.
Enchantment you control. So I was getting him out. I got him several times throughout pre-release. And I got him out usually for 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And he's a 6-drop and a blue. 6 colorless and a blue.
At worst, I got him out for 5 once. But yeah.
3 or 4 was my...
For a 5/6, like, he was real great to just play.
Yeah.
And, like, people weren't necessarily expecting it because especially in my deck, I had a lot of flyers, a lot of smaller guys that maybe the only value was having Death Touch or had a weird ability.
And then you're like, kapow, and they're like,
here you go.
Oh, that's a big boy.
And it's funny because it's a kind of ability or effect, if you will, that happens a lot in green, where the CMC is diminished.
This was a huge blue surprise.
It was a huge blue surprise. They're not known for their meaty guys, and they're not known for their power in numbers contributing to playing a meaty guy. So that was really nice. And the fact that everything's an enchantment doesn't hurt. Yeah. Enchantment creatures, enchantment auras.
Yeah. And that was basically my whole deck, so... So yeah, that worked really well for me. I liked that a lot.
Oh, speaking of, like, enchantments, there was this 1 black card. It was a thief. I think it was like a 2/2 or something like that. And it was kind of tricky. I only went against it once, but it could have been a much bigger problem than it actually was. It could not be blocked by enchantment creatures. Did you go against that?
Adam ran that card.
I didn't go against Adam.
I didn't go against Adam either. And I didn't verse that card, but I know about it because Adam ran that card.
Yeah, I went against it once, and it was just a pain in the butt enough that I had to play around with my board. Yeah, almost everything I had was an enchantment creature, but the only thing that wasn't, Mire Triton, 2-drop, 1 colorless, 1 black, 2/1. Creature, zombie, merfolk, Death Touch. When it enters a battlefield, put up to 2 cards of your library into your graveyard and you gain 2 life. I had it for giggles, and it ended up being the only thing that could even block that. And it Like, good to take care of that before it got too much of a problem, because when everything is an enchantment, that can be a pain.
Yeah. My other big boy that I played was the Nadir. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Nadir Kraken. So he is 1 and 2 blue. Whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. If you do, put a 1/1 counter on Nadir Kraken and create a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token.
Ooh, gross.
So every draw step, I was like, I had extra mana to spare usually, so I paid the extra 1, and I was plussing him to get him bigger and bigger, and I was creating this like army of little 1/1 tokens, and everyone was like, I need to deal with this because that's getting really big really fast. And he starts out as a 2/3, so he doesn't start out small.
Okay.
And you get him out turn 3 and 4 if you need your 2 blue still, but yeah, he was great. Between him and Ashiok, I feel like I had like tokens for days.
Yeah, speaking of tokens, and there were like a couple plays that you could get a lot of tokens. There was some night stuff going on that I wasn't a huge fan of. Wasn't out of control what I saw, but it had the potential to be. And so anything that just like made more, we need to stop that as soon as possible. And that brings up my next favorite card, which is Inevitable End. 3-drop, 2 colorless, 1 black. And it's an enchantment aura. You enchant the creature. An enchanted creature has, at the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. And boy, is that fun. I would put it on their favorite creature, because if you don't put it on their favorite creature, they'll just pick it to get the enchantment out of there. Mm-hmm. But if you put it on their favorite creature, then they've got some choices to make.
Yeah.
And boy, did that, like, implode some setups. And it made some people very sad.
I'm glad I didn't verse you. I have a lot of creatures that I like a lot in my deck.
Most of the time, actually, because I only got to play it like 4 times total, most of the time they just had one beefy thing on the field. And I was just like, here you go. And then they kind of looked at it. And then they go, is that your turn? Yep. Okay, and then at my upkeep, I sacrifice it. So, it feels bad, but you gotta do what you gotta do. One card I really liked was Scavenging Harpy.
Yes, and, I ran that.
I was gonna ask if you ran it, because while I necessarily didn't benefit from the sack thing, or not sack, exile element, I'm sure you would.
Yeah, I ran it, and honestly, the flying is what saved my butt more often than anything else, because especially in limited, I feel like limited sealed too, like flying creatures are just like the devil. Like,
oh yeah,
if you don't have a way to deal with flying creatures, like, you're done. I lost games because I had no flying creatures. I didn't have anything with reach. I was like, I have no way to deal with this stupid flyer that keeps pinging me for 1 turn after turn after turn after turn. So the flying is honestly where I felt like it had most of its benefit more often.
And for a set with so much flying, I don't think I saw any reach. There might have been an instant.
Reach is usually in green though. Green and white.
I think there was an instant or something that could give something reach until end of turn that I ran into. But yeah, I didn't see any creatures. I didn't see anything that had it. That I went up against, because obviously not these.
Yeah,
players.
and somehow you still ended up like, how do I deal with these flyers? Even though there were a fair amount of flyers in the set.
Like stupid amounts, like in every color. I didn't go against a lot of red. I saw some decks that splashed red, but I didn't go against a lot of it.
Against a fair amount of red, actually.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. Was there any flyers in what you saw?
I think there were flyers, but not. I don't think I saw any red flyers.
Interesting.
So they had flyers in their decks, definitely, but I don't think that I saw any red flyers. I think.
Maybe. Doesn't mean they didn't exist.
Yeah, but I did really like that card a lot, too.
Ooh, let's talk about what promo card we got. What promo did you get?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Maybe this looks familiar. I don't really remember. But red-green is my least favorite color combo.
Red-green, during Ixalan I did dinosaurs, and red-green was what it started with, but then I splashed white for the important stuff. And it is just so much fun if it's a good set for it.
Yeah, I mean, and I have a red-green, like, werewolf deck from whenever werewolves happened.
Eldritch Moon? Yeah. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. So, and I have, but I just, and I don't know what it is about it. Like, I just really have an adverse reaction to red-green. So I saw that as my promo and I was like, meh. So it is Galia of the Endless Dance. It has haste. Other satyrs you control get +1/+1 and have haste. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, you may discard a card at random. If you do, draw 2 cards.
And I love the art. It's just like,
It's
I don't know if they're like celebrating a victory or what, but they're just super exuberant. My promo I did end up using in my deck. That ended up being Wave Break Hippocamp. And it is a 3-drop, 2 colors, 1 blue. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, draw a card. So that's kind of fun. I don't know if I got that off, to be perfectly honest, but I had it set up, and for how many flash things were in the, I must have done it at least once. But
do you feel like you saw a lot of flash things and like basically no instants? It might have just been my deck, but
you might be right. There was
like very limited amount of them.
There was more flash than I've ever seen in a set.
There's a lot of flash.
And a lot of flash in white. I'm sure there's been flash in white in like
I had a ton of flash in blue also.
Right. But yeah, it was like in white, black, blue. I even think there were some green flashes. I think like every color had a couple.
There was a lot of flash.
And that's a fun element.
Yeah, definitely.
And the fact that there's so many low drops as well makes it so back to how the set is so volatile.
Yeah.
Anything can change at any moment. Anyone can steal each other's stuff. Anyone can like grab from the exile pile. That's huge from the set.
Yeah, it was great.
Free for all.
Dude.
Absolute nonsense.
Freaking loved it. Eldritch Moon was kind of my entry set, so I loved Eldritch Moon. But I don't feel like I've loved a set as much since then. And again, like Eldritch Moon, not that it was a bad set, but it was my entry set, so I was kind of bound to love it. It was like, it was the magic that I learned, you know? But this set, like, resonated with me, I think. I super, super loved it. The artwork is
phenomenal.
Holy crap.
Like the demigod special arts alone.
Oh, yeah. Did you get any of them?
I did. I don't know if I ended up running any of them because I ended up getting the red one, which was beautiful.
I got the black one. Timurit or Timurit? I don't know how to say it, but
Timurit.
Those were gorgeous.
Cool. Yeah.
They were really, really nice looking.
Yeah, I love the use of constellations in the special art.
Yeah.
And this kind of has like an old magic feel.
It does.
Like from like Hour and Amonkhet through, you know, past Rivals of Ixalan and through all those things, it just felt almost like episodic, like different like themes, like a thematic, like this party's a dinosaur theme. And so like it felt very contained in each one, while this set kind of goes back to like some very classic vibes, and I kind of really like that. It feels like this could be in commander decks. It feels like it could be anything. Yeah, and speaking of that, the buyer box promo I'm going to end up being able to use in my commander, the white-black life gain deck. And I'm super excited because I've used Athreos, like previous printings of him. And
that card was gross.
It's so good. And I don't even have to change my deck for it.
Yeah.
Like, if you haven't checked out the Secret Lair unboxing, where I unboxed my Bitter Blossom Dreams. Click the card, check it out, please. And you'll get a really quick intro into what my commander deck is and the vibe that's going for. But then you'll see why this Athreos is so good. everything was well done, right down to the lands, all the way through to the tokens. The
Oh,
tokens are full art.
Yeah.
Like, that's special. Like,
They're really, really nice.
they all are beautiful, but my favorite is the goat token. Like, I didn't get anything that could make goats, but sure as heck I saved one. Like,
I was really disappointed I didn't get the Ashiok token. I'm hoping maybe we'll pull it in the box when we make the cube.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we're gonna draft the cube, I think. Or draft the box and then make the cube.
And yeah,
The...
that's gonna be so much fun.
But if you guys want to see that, put comments down below if you want to see us draft.
And if you have recommendations on a cube or any variant rules on cubes, because I know there's some kitchen table magic, some people like X amount of copies, whatnot, let us know, because this is the first time any of us has made a cube. And it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be a learning curve. So
it's going to be fun. I'm excited.
So help us
And I'm
out.
happy we're doing it with this set.
Yeah, this is a really good set.
It's such a good set.
Did you guys go to any pre-releases? And what did you pull? What decks did you make? What decks did you go against?
Yeah.
Let us know.
What do you think of the set so far? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you next time.
See you next time. Bye.
Today we went to pre-release for Theros
Beyond Death.
Yeah. Glad you knew that because I didn't. It was in my brain and then just...
It's gone forever. I felt that, like, thought escape, and I was like, hiya!